Okay, so now we're doing square a million years later, after getting a new headset and a new camera and everything else. Okay, so we did rectangle last. I'm going to review rectangle just because it's kind of important to know the difference between a rectangle and a square. So a rectangle, we said it's a polygon, so it's 2D straight closed. It has 4 sides, making it a quadrilateral. It's also a parallelogram, meaning 2 pairs of parallel and congruent sides. It has 2 pairs of parallel congruent sides. But what makes it different is that it has 4 right angles than the other ones we've already done. So a square is everything that we've already done, the first 4. The only thing that makes it different is that it has 4 sides. So I wrote square right here, and I'm going to write it on this side. And we have somebody coming in. And this is for, okay. Thank you very much. Alright, so square. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I'm not sure why there's tape on it, but... Alright, square. Okay, still not working. Okay, so a square is a polygon. Bless you. So that means it's 2D. It's straight edges only. And it's closed. So that's the first thing about a polygon. It's all of those things and more. It's also a quadrilateral, meaning it has 4 sides. It's also a parallelogram. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah, no worries. Meaning it has 2 pairs. Just make sure you write like square so you know it's for that one. Of parallel. It's okay, nothing can go wrong today. Mariah Carey's in town. And congruent sides. And it is also a rectangle. I'm going to try to zoom out. I'm a little afraid because this does not belong to me and there is tape on it. It's also a rectangle, meaning it has 4 right angles. Okay, you cannot see that. So it's all of these things, all 4 of the previous ones that we've done. The only thing that makes this different, special, is that it has 4 congruent sides. All sides are congruent. This is what makes it different, special than everything else, that it has 4 congruent sides. That's the only thing it has that the other ones don't have. And again, you cannot see it. Okay, how about now? There we go. So it has 4 congruent sides. We're going to do an example and a non-example. And then we'll talk about a... Technically, you could also say, if you remember about a kite, what makes a kite special is that it has 2 adjacent congruent sides. Technically, this one also has that. 2 adjacent congruent sides. But that's a kite. So what makes the square different is that it has 4 congruent sides. They're all the same. When you have a kite, it just has to be 2 adjacent ones. Here, they're all the same size, opposite and adjacent. Okay, I'm going to lift this up so the people in the back can see. Hopefully, and it's not really picking up the 2 adjacent congruent sides for some reason. Maybe it's the exposure. There we go. Alright, so an example and a non-example. So you can't just draw that anymore and expect people to know it's a square. It has to be labeled. So to label a square, you have to label that all the sides are the same. And then you have to put the four 90-degree angles, the 4 right angles. That's how you label square. It has to have the tallies, and it has to have the boxes. That's how you label square. It can't just be like that anymore and assume that it looks like a square. A kite is not a square. A kite's where 2 of them are the same, next to each other. Okay? They all have to have the same tally all around because they're all the same size. You're going to see the next one that we do. If it doesn't have 90 degrees, it's also not a square. If they're not all the same, like this, it's also not a square. So what's wrong with this one is that not all the sides are the same, just those 2 and these 2. That's a kite. And then here it doesn't have the 90 degrees. But here, these 2 are different than those because you see 2 tallies. Here you only see 1 tally. So to be a square, it has to be perfect. This is the one. It's funny that they always say don't be, be there, or don't be square. But actually, square is perfect. It has everything. It's really special compared to the other ones. So it's just funny that they use that one.